I do follow the USGA recommendations for green construction, and there are really no other basic norms except common sense and using good engineering practices when necessary. I try to make sure that all the courses I do are of quality standards, but the USGA is the only one specific that people tend to follow. Well, after 38 years here, it's a dry Mediterranean climate. I've had experience here since I've lived here during that period. I think in this particular site, the biggest factor was probably the wind. We had a lot of trouble planting the course because we had to do it very early in the morning each day because the wind would blow the stolons or seed away. The dryness of the climate, we know about that. That's taken care of by the irrigation system. And the temperatures are an ideal year-round environment to play golf in. That's what's made the Costa del Sol the golfing capital of Europe. We're definitely conscious about using recycled water. It's one of the mandates of the junta, and it makes good sense. I think every golf course changes the environment somewhat, but it certainly preserves a large open space that might otherwise not be preserved. Principal trees, there were a few carob trees, and the pine trees we brought in, but they're Mediterranean pines, either stone pines or pine halepensis, I think they're called, or maritime pines. Those were the principal tree varieties, and a few cork oaks. But the majority of the vegetation tends to be of this chaparral or Monte Bacco nature, which is, I call it gruncle in English. It covers all the plants, the names of which I don't know. So there was a lot of natural gruncle, rosemary, pistachio, and I can't think of some of the other bushes offhand. But it's basically the Mediterranean brush vegetation that you see from here to France, Corsica, all along the Mediterranean. In the sense that we put a lot of sand down to cover certain areas of fairways, but also the Bermuda grass that's used to plant the fairways creates a thatch, a sort of carpet that over a period of a couple of years establishes a thickness that makes taking divots or playing iron shots off the fairway relatively simple. It's much easier to play off Bermuda fairways than it is bent grass fairways in the courses of, say, Northern Europe or Northern United States. So the hardness of the ground doesn't really enter into it once the grass is established. You may occasionally hit a pebble, but essentially you take a clean divot. Where there is a natural hillside or mound, I would try and use it for a bunker and incorporate a bunker into that, provided it's in the right location along the length of the hole. On hole number 12, there's two bunkers in the center of the fairway between the first and second shots that I did that even though that they're not really in the specific normal location for bunkers, but somehow I thought it made the hole more attractive and more interesting. Most of the other bunkers we did earth moving to create fill material in order to see the bunker. Because to me it's very important that a hazard, whether it's water or a bunker or a tree, can be seen when a player is making the shot. I don't like blind hazards, and sometimes you have to create earth moving to give the physical structure or physical mound in which to make a bunker. Probably more technical in that the total length of the course is not excessive. It couldn't be because of the limits of the land. So the second shots, approach shots to the greens, do require technical proficiency, and in that sense it may be more of a second shot course than a driving course. The fairways tend to be wide. For me, fairway is anything that has maintained grass. I like that. I think it makes it easier for the average player to enjoy a course, and they can always be narrowed by mowing for a competition. Now, the greens are built to USGA specifications, as you asked, which is essentially how you construct the different layers of seedbed mix. And most modern courses use this today. Valle Romano is really no different than any other course in that sense. The size of the greens, I'd say, is medium. To me, the most important thing is that there's a variation between some small greens and some much larger greens, and the shapes give more interesting putting or pin positions for certain competitions or tournaments by moving the flag behind a bunker or leaving it in the center of the green. The older English greens were more traditionally round or oval, so there wasn't so much strategy in how you would attack a pin position. Well, there's an amble putting green right next to the first tee, and between the putting green and the practice area, the practice tee, is a small chipping and bunker practice area, which makes a very nice unified warm-up or practice area right opposite the clubhouse. Hopefully it's for amateurs, because the majority of people who buy here or who stay in a hotel are your average player. The course can be made difficult for the professional player if he plays off the back tees and if the fairways are narrowed and the pin positions are difficult on that given day. But the important thing is for the person who's paying to play the course that he will enjoy it. So in that sense, I'm more concerned about him than for the pro. A better player will be able to play certain difficult holes more easily, whereas the poorer player will take a short hole like this, which has a difficult approach over water, and find it complicated because he fears the water. Probably would say I like the variety of holes that the course has. They're long, they're short, some are narrow, some are flat, there's a tremendous variety among the 18 holes, more so on a number of other courses I've designed. That's in part because of the topography. It's in part because of the limits of the plan partial. But I tried to maximize that variety to create a maximum of different shots, of different playing things. So that would be probably the one thing that stands out to me.